Each episode of the Lion Goat podcast is completely improvised. Expect comedy. Do not expect consistency or sense to be made. This is random nonsense for your amusement. I am Podbot. I make the bebop go beep boop. Warning. The following podcast contains explicit material intended for emotionally immature adults. Trigger warnings for this episode include discussion about adult themes, violence, profanity, murder, sexually explicit behavior, political incorrectness, animal, emotional, mental, physical, sexual, and substance abuse. Listen to this. It might rot your brain. I warned you. On today's episode, the Aussie Boys, Austin and Russ take a walkabout in Alice's Wonderland and discuss the detrimental effects of ephemeral adverts for Anacin, Scotties Tissue, and Budweiser Beer on the human psyche. Listen for the thrilling conclusion to hear an update on Marvin Marsupial's crime-fighting ring. If you want to experience this podcast as intended, listen while wearing stereo headphones.
Recording now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you back to the Aussie Boys. This is your host, Austin, and I'm here with my co-host, Russ.
Hey there, Austin. How you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much for asking, mate. You remember to ask, and it was right off the top.
Yeah, I did, mate. I did. I wanted to get that out of the way so, I didn't forget like I always do.
That makes me feel wonderful, mate. I'm doing even better now.
Hold on, wait. I'd like to say right now, before this show goes any further, I want to say something to you, mate. All right, mate?
Yeah, mate. You've got the floor. The floor is yours.
I have greatly underestimated your influence on the show,
You've underestimated me, mate.
Yeah, mate, I did.
What do you mean?
Your effect on the show. I know that everybody knows that I'm the star of the show, but, you really are the show.
No, mate.
There wouldn't be a show without you, right? There is no me without you. There's no Aussie Boys without you. You know what I mean, mate?
There's no Aussie Boys without Russ. We gotta have our mates Russ. It takes the both of us. We work it together.
I mean,
we're both blowing the froth off a few. We wouldn't want to do that on our own. I mean, you don't have to carry on like a pork chop.
Well, I just don't think the audience understands your role in all this, mate. All the technical difficulties, when they arise, you tackle them. You're right on top there, mate. You're up there, you're editing, you're answering emails and phone calls. I'm quite proud of you. You're taking on a lot. Man, I don't feel like I'm doing enough, really, mate. I appreciate you. I know the audience does, and I just want to get that out of the way, mate.
I genuinely and sincerely appreciate it, mate. I appreciate you saying that. And as everybody knows, you can't have a purely audio medium like a radio show without having a beautiful face. We gotta have a beautiful face of the show. That's your role. You're the beautiful face. You're the star of the show. You're the reason everybody comes. You've got the kangaroo farm.
No, I think they really come for the commercials because that's what we do best here, Product endorsement or appreciation anyway, because that's what we do. That's what we're about here. It's not really about me or you. It's about the message, mate. We're getting that out there. Product information.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that this week.
Yeah.
I know we didn't have our weekly meeting.
I know.
But I thought maybe we do a you this week, change things up just a little bit, maybe do something different than the commercials.
Right.
Would you be open-minded about that? Would you be interested?
I mean, I really think the commercials are at the heart of it, mate?
Well, I agree, but
what kind of things are you thinking about today?
For me, the commercials are really about the ephemeral.
I'll tell you what, maybe we'll do a sampling show today. We'll do one commercial and one of whatever else you're talking about, or however it works out. What do you think, mate?
I like the way you're thinking. We could do a mixture.
In the spirit of cooperation, sir.
Yeah. We'd have some commercials, and then we could have some other stuff.
Right.
The whole reason I like to do the commercials is their ephemeral nature. I just like them because they're old and they're weird.
Right. And some of them have very great music.
Yeah. They have the great jingles.
Great catchy songs.
Yeah, and I just like that kind of old style, and I thought maybe we could keep along that theme, and maybe it'd be interesting to the audience to have a little something different. Sometimes you like to put on your sunnies and go out down to the beach and have a different kind of vacay. And ladies like to change the grundies and get your mates rates for all your friends and get everybody in there. And you just share the moolah around, you just try out new different things. I just thought we'd try something different. Maybe I'm crazy. Call me crazy if I'm being crazy. I don't want to be wacko. I don't want to be stepping on your dairies. I don't want to be choking on your chook. I don't want to be drinking all your grog, mate.
You better not be drinking all me grog,
I know
mate.
how important your grog is.
You know that's the elixir of my life, mate.
So maybe you give us an update. What's going on over there? Last time we talked, Marvin had brought in a raccoon and an emu.
And an ostrich.
Or an ostrich or something like that. And he was starting up a crime fighting ring.
Right.
He got himself a new cave. He was kicking you out of the cave. The raccoon was doing all sorts of stuff on the computer over there. Did you ever figure out what they were doing in the cave?
No.
Or did they let you in on the planes?
It's been expressed to me explicitly that the cave is off limits to me, mate.
No kidding.
Because apparently I drink too much lager and I fall down and I break the computers. And they don't want that happening again. So
whenever you come around the cave, Marvin just turns to you and he says, on your bike.
Right, and just get lost, kick rocks. But the farm itself, mate, is doing well. It's doing great. There was a tree that fell on a fence, and
oh no,
we've got that fixed. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it just broke a board or two. You know, put it back up. It took like 5 minutes. It was not really hard work. Farming ain't really that hard, mate. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
You have to get out there with your chainsaws and your tractors.
Definitely did that.
Next thing you're going to tell me is you put some sort of rocket engine on the tractor, did you, mate?
No, I didn't do that, mate.
All right, okay.
We did pick up some down trees and trim some limbs with some chainsaws, and we got enough wood worked up for a bonfire. It's going to happen Saturday tonight.
Oh, nice.
I expect you to be here. Marvin will be here unless crime happens. You know how he is.
Well, yeah, I'd probably be there by Saturday. It'd take me a few days to get over there, you know, as the crow flies, but I'd love to come and see you. It's been forever since I've seen you, mate.
Right.
Having a bonfire on Saturday. Are you getting the dingoes involved in the work? Did you have to hook them up on the dingo harnesses to drag all the logs around?
Oh, you know, everybody pulls their weight equally around here on the farm because it has to run like that. You know, I've got Marvin doing his crime fighting practice, and he helps keep the other roos in line and keeps them in shape and hopping and bouncing and everywhere. As far as that raccoon goes, I believe his name is Rex Raccoon.
Well, that's quite alliterative. I like that.
Yeah. He's gotten a degree from MIT or something. He's very smart, apparently.
A raccoon with a degree from MIT, mate. That sounds a bit outlandish. So how'd you find out his name was Rex? Is it just because he acts like a king all the time, or did he communicate that somehow? Did he program up some sort of little text-to-speech engine on the computers?
Actually, mate, you're not going to believe this. He spoke to me in Queen's English.
I have a hard time believing that.
Right.
Your raccoon speaks, mate.
Yeah, it's some kind of royal raccoon Rex master something. It's a long, complicated title that I didn't really understand. Keeper of the electronical key of the kingdom of Psy. I didn't really get what he was on about, but he was very talkative once he started talking about himself. You know what I mean?
So perhaps he went over to school in England or something like that, and that's how he got down here to Australia. I mean, MIT, that's in America. So, I mean, I know raccoons, they come from America, so I wouldn't be surprised that he went to college there, except for the fact that he's a four-legged animal, and sometimes they have hard times getting into college. Perhaps MIT has lowered their standards lately, mate.
Apparently, any third four-legged animal that can speak Queen's English and make gadgets gets right into MIT every time.
It's really about the gadgets then. I mean, it's got all 5 fingers on his little raccoon poles.
Yeah. He just made something that levitated 5 or 6 of my other fellow kangaroos on the farm with nothing, and he made it out of...
Well, I mean, they do jump there, mate. You haven't forgotten that they can jump. They sort of levitate on their own there, mate.
Well, no, they don't freeze in the air for 5 minutes when they jump.
5 minutes, mate. That's quite a jump.
Right? That's not regular. You know what I'm saying, mate?
Was he using the rocket pack that he put on the ostrich so it could keep up with the rocket?
No, I don't think he did it. No, it was just like some kind of whoop came out of what appeared to be 7 tin cans stringed together with tape and baling wire, but I'm not a science expert, an engineering expert. Apparently he is.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard of a levitation device made out of baling wire and tin cans, but so they were just using the extra toppers?
I mean, apparently all the gadgets are created from stuff he can pilfer from the garbage.
Well, I know he's got quite a few cans from all the Fosters you're drinking, so That's just one of those renewable resources around there.
You're absolutely right, sir.
So he's just turned into quite a little Sparky there, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's an excellent wrench turner, you know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the ostrich goes, I believe his name is Oscar the ostrich.
It's another alliterative name. This surprises me. It's interesting the way they have names that start with the same letter as the species of animal that they are. Well, I suppose it's not really their species. I'm not sure I know what species an ostrich is, except for just calling it an ostrich. But it looks nice there. Behind you, I can see the paddock there through your window, and it looks like you've got it fixed up nice. Got a little table out there and a umbrella over the paddock.
Oh, yeah. Now, what you see on that table right there is Sheila bake.
Oh, I thought those were just romantic candles. I thought maybe you were just getting ready for a romantic dinner alone.
No. They're pumpkin scented, and also at this time I'm using barbecue chicken wings, mate.
Barbecue chicken.
I barbecued them myself, made the sauce myself. It's delicious. They're going to love it. It's going to attract the right type of Sheila for me, mate. This is going to work, mate. I promise.
Well, I know the lemon garlic didn't attract the right kind. I mean, they were a bit sour, honestly. Maybe it was the lemon. Lemon's a bit sour. Maybe that's why the Sheila's was sour. Maybe that's why she didn't. I mean, really, it was the flypaper situation, though, mate.
Yeah, that really put a damper on me, Sheila meeting, mate.
I can't blame you for that. You're trying to keep the flies away. It's not your fault she got stuck in a flypaper.
No, I showed her how to go through, mate.
And you had to feed all those burgers through the straw. I know that had to be unpleasant, but at least she was getting nice burgers. I mean, imagine the attitude change she would have had you been feeding her these barbecue chicken wings through the straw. Now that's what a Sheila likes.
Right, mate, yeah. That's what got me thinking, no more burgers, right? So we're doing the barbecue chicken wing. The sauce I made myself. I will not give out Russ's secret recipe barbecue sauce. I'm not going to do that, not on the airways, not unless we can put it in a bottle and put it on the shelf, mate.
I mean, I'm not telling you that you're going to have to hide it in a safe in the backyard like you did with the last recipe.
I'm just saying.
Don't get all paranoid. We're not coming over. Well, maybe you better be a bit paranoid. I mean, if that raccoon can get into a cave that only opens with the key to the city that the mayor gives the kangaroo, then the raccoon can figure out a way to open the door without using the key. You might be afraid of that safe that you buried in your backyard. I mean, the raccoon named Rex might be stealing your recipes right now.
Join our Patreon to get Russ's barbecue sauce recipe.
I'll be right back, Austin.
Wait, we're in the middle of a show, mate. Don't just get up and walk away.
This can't wait. Those recipes are top secret. Family recipes tossed down from the top, the head of the hierarchy, the matriarchy of me family. Can't be letting no raccoon.
Well, go do what you gotta do. I'll keep the audience occupied. It's time for a break anyways. Folks, we're gonna take a break for some commercials. Russ is gonna go and kill himself a raccoon. We'll be right back.
Yeah, good timing. Thank you. I'll be right back.
All right, we're supposed to have a commercial here. I forgot to get the commercial up. We got so excited talking about the raccoon. Let me get the commercial up here first. 1 second.
I guess I should once again start the heavy lifting of doing me duties and carrying the show on me back while Austin flitters through his technologies.
No, mate, go and get the raccoon. You know, I'm carrying the show. You're getting the raccoons. Go get the raccoons while I pull up the commercials.
All right, I'll be back.
In the heart of the Australian outback, rancher Russ was known for his prized kangaroo, Marvin, who doubled as a kung fu crime-fighting superhero. Marvin's trusty sidekick, a genius raccoon named Rex, built gadgets that rivaled Q from James Bond movies' innovations. But when Russ discovered Rex had stolen his secret family recipe for barbecue sauce, he snapped. Enraged, Russ grabbed his shotgun and stormed into the workshop, ready to eliminate the thieving raccoon. Caught off guard, Rex frantically assembled a device to distract Russ while Marvin sprang into action. Using her kung fu skills to disarm her owner. As the dust settled, Russ realized his mistake and the trio reconciled over a plate of barbecued chicken wings. From then on, Rex's gadgets were used for good, and the secret recipe was safe. Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors.
Well, friends, when you suffer pain, the pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia, you need Anacin for incredibly fast, long-lasting relief. In fact, your own physician or dentist has probably suggested Anacin to you. You see, most prescriptions given you by your family doctor contain a combination of carefully selected ingredients designed to do a specific job. Well, it's the same with Anacin, because Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just the one, but a combination of medically proved active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. And it's this combination of ingredients working together that accounts for the incredibly fast, long-lasting relief Anacin brings you. So, friends, just remember, the next time pain strikes, the pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, take Anacin. Anacin comes in handy boxes of 12 and 30 tablets, economical bottles of 50 and 100 tablets. Today, get Anacin for fast relief.
And now, back to the show.
I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're ready for another commercial.
All right.
We're going to insert this back in time, so we got to pretend like we're coming back from the commercial break after I play the commercial.
All right.
I don't know how I'm going to weave that all together so the audience doesn't know that we had the conversation about the raccoons after the commercial, but whatever, we'll just make it work like we did last time. Last time it was perfect. No one could even tell there was an edit.
No, not an edit at all. Never missed a lick. That's why I'm so proud of it. All right. Play that video there, mate.
Oh, it's not making any sound. Start it over.
I've got sound on my side.
Can you hear it, the commercial?
Yes, sir. Can you hear it, mate?
Not making any sound.
Right. Fix it in post, mate. Fix it in post.
Blokes out there in radio land, they've got no idea how this show's made. They have no idea what we do in post, what we do in production, what we do in post-production.
Right. I know that. But sometimes you, sir, like to leave the sound effect insertion quotes there just for a giggle, I think.
It does give me a giggle, mate. Of course it does. I hope it gives everyone a giggle. That's the point of the whole show.
Well, maybe it does. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm like, this is a professional podcast, sir. Can't have man-made sound effects.
So what happened with the raccoon there, then, mate? Was he getting into your recipes, or did you gracefully diffuse the situation without having to resort to violence?
Well, luckily, the ground around me secret hiding place is not been disturbed, so he has not yet found my family recipes. And I swear to God, if he does, there'll be raccoon stew. I don't care that he can talk.
The dingoes don't know where they're at, do they?
No, dingoes don't know. I don't tell them nothing.
Well, you know how the dingoes like to dig,
Right, right. That's true, but they haven't dug these up either.
Well, all right. I'm glad to hear he hasn't found it.
You know what, Austin?
Sorry, mate. It's got out of control on me there.
Well, that's all right, mate.
What were you saying?
You know what I liked about that commercial?
What do you like about that commercial?
The glass beakers that chemist guy had.
I thought you might like that.
I liked that. They were sharp looking. It looked medieval, right?
It reminded me of that blind alchemist guy that the lion goat guy was telling us about.
Yeah, that guy's a quack. I don't know. He sounds like a quack to me, mate. I don't know.
What, the blind alchemist?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, you gotta have appreciation for the blind. They live a hard life.
That's true, mate. That's true. I guess he's doing a good job with his podcast, although he's blind, and I don't really understand how he sees energies if he's blind. But we're getting sidetracked. Let's get back.
Well, I gotta commend him for wanting to be an alchemist without being able to see any of the reagents that he's gotta mix up in his alchemical lab there. I mean, like that guy on the Anacin commercial. He looked like he had all those ingredients nicely measured out in his little beakers, like you were saying. There's beautiful glass beakers.
He did, right? That's what I'm saying. It was very nice, very alchemical indeed, medievally so. And I don't think we should be using that kind of medicines anymore. I think there's a much smarter, sophisticated way to do that these days instead of in those medieval glass beakers. I mean, how many times do you think they have been washed since 1532, mate?
I have no idea. I have no idea how often they wash those. I was wondering myself, was just about to ask you if you think that in the Anacin plant that they're each hand measuring out in the beakers to make up each little pill, and how do they get that powder that he had in the beaker down into the little pill that you take? And one other question I had for you, I don't know if it was just my eyes, maybe I'm getting a bit older, my eyes aren't working well, but when he was showing the list of ingredients there on the prescription pad to make it look like it was a prescription, I couldn't tell if it was a joke that they wrote the ingredients in a scroll that no one on earth could possibly read, or if they were just trying to display the fact that they didn't want the public to actually know what was in the Anacin.
I think maybe they were attempting to replicate a doctor's signature, mate.
Yeah, I thought that might be a bit of a laugh. They were taking the piss.
Yeah, that's keen observation, mate. That's a joke that would have got missed, likely. Keen eye, sir.
Well, he was trying to say that it was like a prescription. I thought that was an interesting marketing gaffe to say, hey, take our analgesic. It's got aspirin in it, probably a bit of caffeine, just like every other analgesic on the market, but we're going to pretend that it's just like a prescription. I thought that was the best part of that commercial.
Considering the time, though, I mean, that may have been an accurate statement. You could have just then gotten that over the counter instead of by prescription, right?
Well, you do have a point. I mean, that was made back in the 50s. I think they were a bit more reserved in what they'd prescribe. That happened after Prohibition, so you couldn't just knock on down to the local druggist and get yourself cocaine anymore. They'd taken that off the market recently, and you couldn't just go get your opium in your opium den like you could before that.
No, we couldn't do that. They shut that down.
Well, they were doing lots of studies on LSD in those years.
I don't know. The opium dens were nice, mate.
There was quite the boom in the use of acid, so I'm not sure if analgesics were highly regulated or not.
Yeah.
That's a good question for Podbot. Maybe we could get the Podbot to insert something here about regulation.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great job for the Podbot. What do you think, Podbot?
Aspirin, or salicylic acid, has been used as a common pharmaceutical agent for over a century. The first use of salicylic acid dates back to ancient civilizations like the Sumerians and Egyptians between 3000 and 1500 BC. These people used willow as a medicine. In 1763, the Royal Society published a report detailing powdered willow barks used in curing fevers. In 1828, Joseph Buchner extracted salicin from willow, and it was also found in the meadow sweet flower by Swiss pharmacist Johann Purchas Tescher. In 1897, Felix Hoffmann reduced salicylic acid's irritant properties by adding an acetyl group, and Bayer patented the process. They named the drug aspirin in 1899. The letter A stood for acetyl. Spir was derived from the plant known as Spira ulmaria, meadowsweet, which yields salicin. Andin was a common suffix used for drugs at the time of the first stable synthesis of acetylsalicylic acid. Aspirin was first sold as a prescription drug in 1899, but it was later sold over the counter in the United States in the early 20th century. In the 1950s, the Food and Drug Administration began to regulate the marketing and advertising of aspirin and other over-the-counter drugs, requiring manufacturers to list active ingredients and include warning labels. Aspirin was marketed and sold by various companies and was widely available in pharmacies, drugstores, and supermarkets. Aspirin was widely used as a pain reliever, anti-inflammatory, and antipyretic. It was prescribed for headaches, arthritis, and menstrual cramps. In 1950, aspirin was so widely used it was entered into the Guinness World Records for being the most frequently sold painkiller. In the mid-1950s, researchers began investigating the development of buffered aspirin and also helped to reduce stomach upset, a common side effect of the drug. Caffeine was added to aspirin in products like Anacin because it is believed that caffeine can enhance the pain-relieving effects of aspirin by blocking the action of adenosine, a chemical that can reduce the effectiveness of pain relievers, and caffeine can constrict blood vessels, which can reduce the severity of headaches, including migraines and tension headaches.
Radio then. All right, Austin, now that we've gotten the commercial out of the way, we need an extra employee here, I think, Austin. What do you think about somebody to do all this research, mate?
We got the Podbot. That's what the Podbot's for.
I lost. What was I saying? I don't even know where I am right now. Sometimes being behind this microphone is scary, mate. You lose yourself, you get everywhere, you know?
Are you getting distracted when the Podbot brings stuff up automatically on the screen?
Just the flashy movements of the words, I think, maybe. Because I was like, oh, shiny.
All right, I'm going to change what I'm presenting to you then. I'll change it to just a window there.
All right. There's something that doesn't flash and rotate and swap around, mate. That was distracting.
That takes you off the monitor, though.
See, I would close the window here, but then I wouldn't be able to see your face, and that's not good.
Yeah, I just like to see your face.
I mean, you're a handsome fella. Got a face for radio, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I don't know about that. It's face for radio, as you often like to remind me. I've got a bit of the buck teeth and the squirrely brow, but I don't mind. I don't have too much trouble when I'm going to get the shillies, especially if they've had a few tapas.
Right on, mate. Always on the prowl you are, sir. Now, what is this newfangled idea you want to do with the show? What direction are you looking here, mate?
Oh, well, I was just thinking, we like to do ephemera stuff. And I just thought there was that one episode where the Lion Goat did that old school-type film strip.
Right.
Do you remember that episode?
I do.
About the pedophilic teacher that wanted to teach his student how to take a bath?
Right. Yeah, it was quite creepy.
Now, I didn't want to do anything like that. Now, this is a nice, clean family.
Yeah, I don't think we should do anything like that at all. Nothing like that at all, sir. That would ruin...
No. This is a nice, clean family show. We're not going to do anything like that. That was disturbing and crude, and everybody should go back and listen to that episode if they haven't heard it. But I thought that maybe we should do something like an old film that was back before the time of copyright, something that we should probably be able to get away with showing without any sort of copyright issues. There was this movie that was made back in 1923 from a series called Laugh-O-Grams.
Laugh-O?
Basically what it was like little movie shorts that they would show at the pictures if you went to the pictures back in 1923. It's really like the first thing I've ever seen that's like a cartoon mixed with a real action. Did you ever see that movie? What was it?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, Roger Rabbit. That's the one.
Yeah, I like that movie.
It's sort of like that. So I thought...
All right, well, let's give her a whirl, mate. Let's check her out. Is it a long movie?
No, it's very short. It's only 8 minutes. And we're just about time for our second commercial break. We usually talk about each commercial for a certain amount of time. So
right.
Maybe we could just rattle on a bit more about Anacin. Can you tell us the story of the worst headache that you ever had?
You know what? I remember this time when I had a headache. I was in my grandmother's bathroom.
Now, this isn't another one of those stories about how they've been abusing your grandmother, is it?
No, it's not. I was in there. I had a headache, right? But see, what had happened was my grandmother, she beat me with a hickory stick. It was 7 feet long, sir.
She beat you with a history stick, mate.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to say, right?
Why was your grand beating you with a hickory stick?
Well, I had eaten all the cookies in the cookie jar.
Ah, you were a little chalky dingo, weren't you? A little hound.
Right, yeah. I was a fat kid, But that's all right.
You were fat? I never knew you were fat.
Yeah, well, you didn't know me then, mate. You only know me now.
Go ahead, tell us the story.
Anyway, she did not hit me with the wispy end. She hit me with the blunt end, holding the wispy end like a whip, and cracked me skull in 9 places.
Did you crack your skull in 9 places?
I put a Band-Aid on and got some Anacin out of the bathroom cabinet.
The Anacin was good enough to help you?
Yeah. Took 2 of them right as rain the next door. I didn't even have to go to the chemist, mate. They had them right there in the shitter.
So you saying your grand brained you?
Right.
Broke your skull 9 places?
Right.
And all you had to take was some Anacin for it?
Right.
That might say something about your state of mind these days, Blade. I mean, you're one of my favorite blokes in the world. But if you had brain damage from how old were you when this happened?
I believe I was the right old age of 3 when it happened. A true story, sir. That happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, toughest bloke in Australia right here. Toughest bloke this side of the outback in Sydney, Russ.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors. Just imagine this could be your advertisement. Please reach us at LionGoatPodcast@gmail.com to provide sponsorship. And now, back to the show.
That's right. Anacin saved me life, mate. That's all I'm going to say.
I believe it. They must have something fierce in Anacin, like some type of compressive bandage. Did she at least, let you sleep it off for the afternoon so you didn't have to do your chores?
No, not at all, mate. I was out there trimming roo nails and keeping the fur. It was like a dingo/roo car wash going on, and I had to do it all with one flimsy little Band-Aid on my head. I think it was a Barney Band-Aid. It was horrible.
Like the dinosaur?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were talking about the dinosaur or that guy from the Flintstones.
Oh, right.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, mate. That's such a horrible story of trauma. I mean, have you gone to some counseling services?
Oh, right. I've done that.
Oh, okay, good.
I've done that. They said I was fine-o. Right as the mail, mate. And I just sent me on. Let's get to this cartoon.
All right. So this is called Alice's Wonderland, but it's not Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, it's Alice's Wonderland. I believe I've seen this, actually, mate.
I don't want you to be confused.
I am not confused, mate.
It might have been...
I'm a huge fan of Alice and her Wonderland. I believe I've seen this.
Okay, well, I thought what we do is we try to do Mystery Science Theater 3000 or something like that.
Right.
We could do the Australian version.
All right. We can do that, mate. We can just talk.
Since you know it well, you'll be able to make some jokes, mate.
All right.
We'll fill in the audience of what we're seeing as it goes, and then maybe I can take some pictures of it or something. I don't know how we'll get this to work from video perspective, but maybe we'll be able to figure it out, or we'll just tell them what's happening.
All right.
Laugh-O-Gram Films Incorporated presents Alice's Wonderland, a scenario and direction by Walt Disney. Photography by Uberworks. Little Alice, chock full of curiosity, pays her first visit to a cartoon studio. Played by Virginia Davis.
Right, it's definitely a studio. It's a private studio. Watch out, little girl. There's probably danger in there. It's Disney.
So we see a little girl.
She looks freaked out, mate.
Some bloke there, he's making a drawing of a doghouse. Looks like she's beating on the door.
I'd like to watch you draw some funnies.
That's my little girl's voice. How do you like it?
Yeah, that's nice. I totally believed it, sir.
He says,
"Come on over here, little girl. Sit down in my chair."
she's rubbing her hands together like she's a hungry dog.
Oh, that doghouse that he drew with a pencil is a cartoon. Oh,
Whoa, the house is farting at her. Whoa, a dog just bounced out of the house. What's happening inside that house, mate?
I don't know.
Like the dog is fighting with the house? It's fighting. Oh, there's a cat in there.
Oh, it's a cat in there. Should have known.
Why does she keep grabbing her hands like that? Has she got itchy palms or what's she doing there?
I don't know what's going on. Look at her eyes. They're awfully wide. I think she's on.
I think they've got her on some of that Anacin.
Yeah, there's definitely a side effect.
Well, there's cats playing jazz.
I remember seeing those cats dance around.
That was after you had too many Fosters that time.
Right.
There's like a cartoon mouse poking at a real cat. And then there's some guy smoking pot in the background there. He's got his pipe out.
Is that what he's smoking?
He's smoking something fierce to be seeing a mouse animated like that.
It smells like it.
And there's some other weird kid. That's not how boxing works. I'm confused by this cartoon.
It doesn't seem to make much sense here, mate.
Why are they guys in the background are punching?
Not bad for a first attempt at live action and cartoon, though. I mean,
It's slightly confusing.
not very Wonderlandy. I don't think. Wait a minute, something happened.
What Alice saw would make any little girl's heart flutter.
A woman, she saw her mother.
I believe that's supposed to be her mother. She just picked her up and threw her in the bed.
Right.
It's a bit rough for bedtime.
How did she get from the studio to the bed, mate?
I think she took that train right there.
That train right there?
Oh, mate, maybe this is a dream sequence. I'm confused. Whoa, the train just jumped.
I don't know what's going on, sir. Train just lost its, oh, backed up and got itself. There we go, up at the big hill. Why'd it do a loop-de-loop, mate?
That's a loop-de-loop train.
Are these pig mayors or are they dogs? What's going on here?
I believe they're supposed to be the reception committee. I've had a monkey as the conductor of the train there. Dogs are receiving it.
Right. That seems like a good job for a monkey, mate.
That was interesting how they made that cardboard train look like it was real.
Right.
Welcome to our city, Alice.
There's the dogs. Then she holds out her dress and bows at them.
I believe that's called a curtsy, mate.
And there's hippopotamuses and donkeys.
Are those dogs?
I think those are supposed to be dingos.
They don't look like no dag I've ever seen, mate.
I'm not sure why they're wearing top hats and what they're saying to her.
Welcome, Alice.
They got a pig and a donkey and an elephant.
Why did she get a parade, mate? What's she done? She just showed
Well,
up.
I think she's just Alice. I think they're excited to see Alice.
I'd like to go to a place that's always excited to see me. Right? You know, one of those places where everybody knows your name.
Is that like that bar that they had on that television show they made?
Right, right.
Oh, yes. I don't know if this is gonna work, mate. It's not exactly working like I imagined.
This is really lame, sir. I mean, maybe if you pick a good cartoon, sir, but this is trash.
Well, I just thought it'd be funny because look at the way she's dancing, mate. Do you dance like that? She's just kind of waggling her leg around.
Yeah, but this is all sight gags, sir. This is radio. It doesn't work.
She looks worse than Julie Louis-Dreyfus dancing on that Seinfeld show. I figured we could interject things that she might say. A lion's just taking a bite out of a cage.
That lion just ate a bar out of its cage, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, there's like 8 lions out of that little bitty box. Chasing this downtown. Oh, mate, I hope they don't eat poor Alice.
Looks everybody in the town's run away. And the lion's, wow, she's got a cool hat that just bounced right off her head.
Well, her hat flipped off her head. Did you see that?
I wish I had a hat like that. I don't understand why her socks were bouncing up and down.
Why are they drooling, mate? Are they gonna eat her? Oh, they're filing their teeth, mate. This is not good for Alice.
I'm not sure that's the best way to improve your dental hygiene. I wouldn't recommend that to any of the kids out there. Don't file down your teeth.
Oh no, they're definitely sharp, mate. Cut that hair right in half. Oh, almost got her, sir.
This is my favorite part, where she outruns all the bunny
Well,
rabbits.
she just outran her, right? And they had a head start too, mate.
Lions are chasing her. She's thinking to herself,
I gotta get on your bike.
Fleet feet, mate. Run, little girl.
just dove into the tree.
You're hard in a tree. Wait a minute, there's not enough room in that tree for all those lions, is there?
And then it looks like they're doing the same stuff in the tree that the dog was doing in the house. There's lots of ouches and gurrs and farts coming out of the tree. Not sure why the tree's farting. Oh, maybe that was her passing gas in there.
Maybe, mate. Maybe, mate.
She said,
Leave me alone or I'll fart on you again.
but then they started chasing her again. Now she's finding a much bigger tree. Now she's farting at them again.
I don't think that's what's happening at all, sir.
I think that right there might have been the inspiration for Bugs Bunny.
Maybe. Right, there's a rabbit, sir.
Well, he jumped in that hole.
Right.
I think that's funny when they have the little bumps under the ground. She just jumped right off the cliff.
Fearless, this little girl is. Look at her doing jumping jacks on the way to the ground, mate. I guess the video is over. I gotta say one thing about this video, mate. The longest 8 minutes of my life. I swear to God.
You didn't enjoy it.
I was confused. I cried. I laughed. I was all over the place, mate.
I didn't notice you crying. Which part was making you cry? Was it the smell of the farts that was making you cry, mate?
Yeah, definitely, mate. They were vicious, sir.
That was rude. I don't know why those lions were farting so much.
Trees were farting. I don't know what was going on in there. I hope it was just somebody passing gas in there and not something more sinister or hideous, you know, like, I don't know, glowfish or those damn spiders we got over here, you know, falling out of the sky. I don't know why I live here. Flying spiders.
The huntsman? I don't think it was filmed in Australia. It didn't seem to have any huntsmen
Well,
there.
that's true, but you never know what lives in the land of Wonderland, you know.
Yeah, they did have all sorts of animals there. Pigs and all sorts of stuff, but I didn't see any dingoes, and I didn't see any wallabies, I didn't see any kangaroos, didn't see any koalas, so I don't think where Wonderland is. I don't think it's in Australia.
Well, that's probably a good thing, mate. They don't have all them flying spiders.
You've got flying spiders there.
No, we've got them here.
Flying spiders, mate.
Yeah, mate. Where you been?
What kind of spiders are flying? What are you talking about?
They don't really fly. What they do is they connect themselves together on a silk parachute, and they float upon the wind.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
How did you forget about those things, man? You've lived here your whole life, sir. I can't believe you, Austin. I'm almost disappointed in you.
Well, I thought you meant like they had wings or something like that, mate.
You've got the slang down pat, matey, but I swear to God you don't know your facts.
Well, I'm not the factologist, as you like to say.
Well, that's true, you're not.
I don't know all the facts, but I do know what you mean now. You're just talking about spiders that shoot out a little bit of web, and then they fly along the web, the wind catches the web. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the little spiders that had wings like flies, like all those flies that you put up the fly papers for. I thought you meant there were some kind of spiders that were flying. I was about to get scared. I was going to have to go down and get some fly paper for myself.
You're gonna get scared? Austin, the spiders we got now are bad enough. We don't need winged flying spiders. That'd be horrible, mate.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, mate. Of course. We've got the most dangerous animals in the world here in Australia. You definitely have to be scared of the spiders we have. I mean, much less spiders with wings on them. I'm glad that there aren't any spiders with wings on them. So I don't think that went over so well. Maybe we'll have to take a different type of commercial.
All right, mate.
All right, so you might have to turn down the volume a bit on your own here, but I'll turn it down some too.
All right.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors.
There's no other box of facial tissues like this. Scotties' new Magic Oval Box. Only Scotties give you tissues that float up gently, one at a time, and come out in neat handfuls, too, because there's a Magic Oval inside every new Scotties box. Only Scotties Magic Oval can give you tissues that float up, smooth and easy. No tugging, no tearing, no extra tissues tagging along. And Scotties Magic Oval does even more. It lets you reach in for tissues by the handful, all neatly folded, just right for pocket or purse. Scotties' new Magic Oval box is pretty, too. And inside, soft, strong, sneeze-proof Scotties. Remember, for tissues that float up smoothly and come out in neatly folded handfuls, look for Scotties' pretty new Magic Oval box, the only one of its kind.
And now, back to the show.
Magic oval box. Well, I didn't know there was a oval box top before Kleenex came along. I guess that was Scotties, right?
Yeah, apparently the Scotties beat them to it. They had that nice oval box. I thought that was quite an invention. That was one of my favorite inventions. Scotties oval box.
There's nothing worse I hate in the world, Austin, is going to get a tissue from the tissue receptacle and it not having an oval and it getting stuck up, bunched up, and ripped. You wind up getting half a box when you only needed one. You know what I mean, mate? It's just messy and wasteful. I'm very glad that that oval was invented.
I'm very glad that it was invented too. I believe you're correct about that. There's nothing worse than that. I think that the Scotty blokes, they deserve a lot more credit. And I thought that was a classy commercial too. It's just the way it handled. They had that nice classy music in the background.
Right.
That pretty little girl blowing her nose. I thought that was rather filthy, but it was nice to see that she was in a nice dress.
Right. How sturdy the tissue actually was, because they did claim that it was sneeze proof, and it's true because you saw the little girl sneeze right in there.
Yeah, it didn't just blow snot all over the floor. There wasn't a big mess that her mother had to clean up after.
Right. No bogeys everywhere.
And it was so nice the way that box was easy to open. They just poked right in there with their long fingernails, her long kangaroo sharp nails. She's poked right into the Scotty's box. So let me ask you a question. What is that oval?
Are we watching the same thing, Austin? Because I didn't see one single kangaroo in that advertisement.
No, I was saying her nails. They were like the sharp nails of a kangaroo. They were vicious. She had vicious nails. Did you see that?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she was like a lady of the night from the 40s or something like that. She had these long, vicious nails. They were like claws.
Yeah, they were probably actually knives. That's why she was able to cut through that plastic so easily.
Like Freddy Krueger, is that what you're saying, mate?
Yeah, mate, that's pretty scary.
I don't think she was that scary. Now, come on. She was just a regular old Judith Cleaver, or whatever Leave It to Beaver's mom's name was.
Was that really June Cleaver?
Was it June or Judith?
I believe her name was June Cleaver. Ward, don't be so hard on the beaver.
Wait, mate. Ward was hard on the beaver. Is that what you were saying? That's what I was just about to ask you. What did the oval on the top of that Scotty's box remind you of?
An oval in top of the Kleenex box that I used to blow my nose yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You got a cold then, mate?
Oh, no. It's just, I keep the shack here very cold because, it's the outback. It's hot. So I've got a bit of a sniffle, but that's my own fault.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry to hear you got a sniffle. Maybe the raccoon could whip you up a little remedy there.
And I actually have a whole box of Scotties tissues right here. Oh, they're so soft and they are sneeze proof. I can attest to that.
Glad to hear that you've got yourself a nice remedy there. You've got something to help take care of that. I'm not sure why I'm talking about Kleenex or why I picked Kleenex. I'm not sure that was the best commercial. Didn't really have a good jingle.
Not really, mate.
Like
it was a Scotties tissue commercial. I think they will be probably mad at us if we keep referring to them as Kleenex, sir.
Oh, you're right about that.
And we've done a great job avoiding the legal troubles.
Yeah, tissue, right. Tissues, right.
Tissues.
Just call it tissue paper. Scotties tissue paper.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I picked up that American habit of calling tissues Kleenex. Must have been some of those American Sheilas that I was hanging out with last summer.
Right. Those that were on vacation you were telling me about. What were their names again, mate?
Oh, well, they always brought Kleenex with them, and they just called it Kleenex. It didn't matter what kind it was. I kept telling them, no, this is Scotties with a nice oval. They came up with the oval before Kleenex. I swear, Sarah and Jilly, they just kept calling them Kleenex the whole time. They wouldn't ever call them Scotties. I felt it was quite rude to Scott himself, but he's not around these days, so...
No, I'm sure he's shuffled off this mortal coil a long time ago, mate. But still, I appreciate your brand loyalty, mate. Correcting those ladies' English.
Well, it's a family business. I've always been loyal to the products that we like to give the commercials for here on the Aussie Boys. I think that's the way to go. You find a product and you test it out, and if it works great and you believe in it, then you just got to keep using that product until the day you die.
That's right.
Doesn't matter how much they raise the price of the product, or if they come up with generic versions of the product that are just as good as the name brand versions. You want to always stick to the name brand and use it forever, especially if they've got a great jingle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what sells it, mate, the jingle. Advertisement back in the day was so unique and original and powerful. As soon as you saw the product or heard the jingle, you knew what you were getting, mate. They were honest. They were true to the point. You just don't get that a lot these days, right?
Well, they've changed. They've gotten rid of the catchy jingle for the flashy video. I quite find that the catchy jingle is actually a better marketing tool, in my personal opinion. Now, I could be wrong about that.
No, I agree with you 100%, mate. And we've got to work out our jingle for the show.
I'm confused. I thought that was one of our best bits, but I want you to listen to this one. See about this jingle here.
Open a Budweiser and pour yourself the most inviting glass of beer you've ever tasted.
Sure.
Cold, golden Budweiser with that good taste for good times. So go ahead. Live life, every golden minute of it. Enjoy Budweiser. Every golden drop of it.
Budweiser beer is for folks who know where there's life. Where there's life.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Where there's life, there's Bud.
Well, I, Austin, am going to choose Foster's as my brand loyalty product here in this episode, right? I mean, you've done it with Scotties, and I'm sticking with Foster's. You know what American beer and making love in a canoe have in common, mate?
Well, they're fucking close to water.
That's right.
That's what I always say. But yeah, I'm not trying to bring out any old cliche jokes. I just thought that the jazz in that commercial, the way that flute was playing.
Right, that was a killer beat, mate.
That was awesome. It was a nice beat. And I love that video showing the lady holding up a seashell to her ear, hearing the sounds of jazz wafting off the ocean.
Yeah, I hear you. I like the shot of the flute itself with her just at her fingers. Doo-doo-doo-doo. That was catchy, mate. It was nice, up to date for the times, you know what I mean? Jazz was prudent back then, clashing everybody's ears from the airwaves, so kind of like we're doing now with our words.
I always like that slogan, where there's life, there's Bud.
That's true, that's true.
I'm not sure what that means. It's like they're saying everyone should live in an alcoholic nightmare, something like that, but it was a beautiful slogan anyways. Not exactly sure what that slogan means, but it sounded great with the jazz.
That's true. I think what it means is everywhere there is life, there is somebody named Bud. And I think that's what that means. I don't know.
Oh, like you've got a bud, like you got a bloke. Is that what they're saying?
Maybe that's what it is, mate.
You should always find friendship.
Happiness is friends, mate. That's what they tell you. Or that's what I'm telling
Nothing
you
makes
right
a
now.
good friend like when you're drinking a beer with your friend. Is that sort of the idea?
That's right. We have bonded over many cold beverages, haven't we?
That is true, but I thought that was a good commercial. I just thought it had a good jingle to it. I like the flute. I like the image of the shell and the idea that she's hearing the sound of the ocean or hearing the sound of the flute somehow in the shell. Or maybe she was just delusional. Maybe there was a jazz band, a jazz flautist just playing next to her, and she was just grooving on the sound of the ocean while she was listening to the flute in the other ear. It didn't really show if that flautist was in the same location as the lady on the beach, but I assume the flautist was playing on the beach.
Otherwise, the shell wouldn't have picked up the flute. You know what I mean? I mean, it's got to be close enough for the conductivity of the shell, mate.
Ah, right.
I mean, it's very science-logical, and I don't really fully understand it all, but it works somehow.
I wasn't really thinking about the reverberation of the flute in the shell.
Right.
I bet that was kind of cool.
Right.
It was like a tiny little echo chamber, made it sound cool.
There's a lot of things that don't always get considered, sir.
I see. Yeah. Well, maybe we should try that next time we go down to the beach.
I feel like we should probably wind down. I feel like we're running out of steam, mate. And I don't know, we can maybe revisit.
Well, I can never run out of steam, but the good news is we've reached an hour anyway.
Oh, right.
So It's time to end the show anyways.
Oh,
That was the last commercial.
right,
So I'd say that's perfect timing there on your part.
right.
You felt like it was the end of the show, and you
Right.
were exactly right. I think you're getting good at this podcasting thing there, mate.
Maybe.
You just got it in your bones. You can just sense when the end of the show's coming.
I call it a precognitive sense. You know, I've always known I was psychic a bit.
I didn't even have to show you the big clock timer.
Always known. And this just proves it, mate.
Well, maybe that's how you're communicating with Rex the raccoon. Maybe he's not really talking in a human voice. Maybe he's talking to you psychically. You ever think about
Maybe
that?
Rex the raccoon does have telepathy. I don't really know. Like I said, he keeps to himself.
But what was that word you used there?
Telepathy?
Telepathy? Who's that? Telepathy?
That's the word.
Telepathy?
That's the word.
Telepathy? It sounds like a pretty name. Is that the name of his Sheila?
I don't know.
Raccoon? Is she Telepathy?
I don't know if he has a Sheila, mate.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he spends a lot of time in that cave over there making gadgets. I don't even know what some of them do. One of them just has a blinking light on it. I don't know what it does.
Did you ever figure out what the ostrich is there for? You said he was just there for communication support, technical support of some kind?
I mean, he does run rather fast and a little bit faster with the jetpack on.
Oh, so they did make him a jetpack.
But that's about all he seems to do. I don't know if he does something inside the cave or not. Like I said, I'm not allowed back in there. It's top secret, hush hush. You know, I'm a blabbermouth, mate. I'll tell everybody.
Well, how's Marvin doing these days? Has he got some new outfits that he's wearing, or is he still dressing like Batman? Did he have any issues with DC about that?
No, not that I'm aware of at this time. He is keeping his legal troubles very close to his pouch, you know.
Has he caught any big villains this week?
Well, you know what he did do last week? He stopped a bank robbery, mate, and it was very nice.
Oh, that's
Right.
fantastic.
Right. They almost got away with $100 billion trillion of currency and 2 pens.
It must have been Australian dollars. 100 billion trillion, that's a lot of dollars, mate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a lot of dollars, mate. I don't understand bankings.
Right.
Anyway, Marvin and the raccoon and the ostrich, he ran around a circle around the bank for some reason. I guess he's like keeping the bank robbers in there or something, mate. And then Rex the raccoon, he shot this coffee can with a flashy light on it. And the bank robbers stopped, put the money back, got in a police car, went on to jail.
It was like some sort of flashbang grenade or something that mind controlled them somehow. They just gave up.
I don't know exactly how it all worked because he is a man of science. I am a man of kangaroos. So,
Right.
you know, I don't understand things.
Well, I would have been terrified just to see a raccoon here in Australia. I mean, I've never seen a raccoon in Australia. They'd be scary enough, much less one carrying around a coffee can with flashing lights.
I mean, I think he's...
I mean, you're just trying to go through your day, do your job, rob the bank, just like you normally do on a Saturday afternoon.
Right.
And all of a sudden, a little raccoon comes in, and then there's some kangaroo in a rocket car bouncing around outside wearing a Batman costume. That'd scare the piss out of me, too. I think I'd give up and just give the money back myself. I'd say, take me to jail. Protect me from this crazy raccoon and this crazy kangaroo. Much less the ostrich that just flew by.
Right. His team and their crime-fighting techniques are top-notch. You know what I'm saying?
Is he still recruiting? Are there going to be other members to the team?
I don't know. He's keeping his plans hush-hush, mate. They're like top secret, mate. I can't get a word out of anybody about it.
Yeah, all right.
Even the dingos don't know. It's just a little weird.
Well, at least he told you about the bank robbery. Or did you have to read that on the news?
I saw that on the telly, mate.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Ridiculous. He didn't tell me at all. We could have had it Foster's over and celebrated, but no, nothing. He keeps the crime fighting very hush-hush, mate. And I don't know what to do about it.
Well, I guess.
I understand his need for privacy. I do. I respect it. But what I don't understand is why he won't tell me when he did a good thing. You know, we could have celebrated that together. Or maybe he doesn't want me to get in the line of fire from his enemies, because I'm sure he's amassing quite a few. He's probably got a nemesis out there somewhere.
I think he's just proud.
He should be, mate.
Well, that's what I mean. He's just proud. He's trying to be modest. He doesn't want to brag. Doesn't want to be some sort of budget. You know, he just wants to fight crime because it's the right thing to do. He's a noble roo.
This is true. This is why I believe he's unique and special the way he is, because he just wants to help, fight crime, combat evil. He's compassionate and humble, so reserved. I'm glad I am able to know Marvin the Marsupial, the crime-fighting kangaroo. I really, really am grateful he is in my life. I'm going to have to start charging him rent for the cave, though, I think.
Sounds like you're feeling very grateful today, and that's inspired me, and I hope it inspires all the listeners out there. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us here on the Aussie Boys. I've been your host, Austin, and this is your other host, Russ, saying goodbye.
We'll yabba at you later.
We'll yabba at you next time. We nearly had it there, mate.
Yeah, almost had it. We'll get it one day, mate. I promise.
That was very good, though. You had the yabba part, you had the next time, or later, or something like that. I'm not sure what you said.
Yabba at you next time. I remember. I've got it scrawled over there in crayon on the wall. I'll get it down eventually. Maybe I should make it a little larger.
Yeah, maybe so you can see it from your podcasting station, from your studio.
That's right.
All right, then, everybody.
Yabba at you next time.
We would love to receive your feedback, your improvisation suggestions, your questions for advice, and your musical compositions for response. Please email us or send us a voicemail. Our address is LionGoatPodcast@gmail.com. Find, like, review, subscribe, and contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, and X at LionGoatPodcast, all one word. Lion Goat Podcast. Please subscribe to this podcast on your podcast player. We are available on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and anchor.fm/LionGoatPodcast. Please tell all your friends, enemies, and any strangers to listen to our podcast. This will help us bring joy to everyone. Text-to-speech services were provided by freetts.com. and readloud.net. Various audio clip content, used for the purposes of satire, were located on youtube.com and the Internet Archive. Additional sound effects were provided by freesound.org. Other original music for today's show was composed, performed, and recorded by the excellent musicians at HairelineProductions. Today's show was edited, produced, and recorded by the world's greatest sound designers and engineers at HairelineProductions. Please like their content on SoundCloud/HairelineProductions.